Hello and welcome to Bold of You to Say,
the official podcast of yelling.
Hello.
Here with me is, of course, my two co-hosts, Jared and Gavin. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, I'm Gavin.
That's Gavin.
Am I too quiet? Hello.
Maybe just get a little closer.
Yeah.
Gavin, you're not yelling enough.
I know. I'm very calm today.
We have a special guest with us today, Eric Saunders from our CTC Film and New Media class.
Hello.
Now, Eric, we understand you have a podcast too. Would you like to explain how that works?
Yes, it's called 2 Cents. It's kind of dying on us, but the idea is to make the worst advice possible and give it to people, but we don't tell them on our podcast. See, we kind of bait them. We kind of debate them.
You trick them into ruining their lives?
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
It's a.
Sounds like Medicare.
It's similar in nature.
Hey,
Whoa.
Yaga.
Got him. It's fairly similar in nature to what we do here.
Sounds like unsubsidized student loans.
Whoa.
Heyo.
Oh my god, whenever I say whoa, it gets really high.
Anyway.
You guys want to try talking as quietly as possible and see what happens?
Okay. Welcome back to NPR News. Today we're talking about the Turkish caramel crisis. Here today we have John Lennon talking to us about.
We look so cute.
Why is it always the Turkish caramel crisis that I go to?
Why? I don't know.
It's something I just made up and was like, hey, that sounds like something NPR would talk
I don't
about.
think
And we're
they
back.
eat caramel in Turkey.
Didn't know
I
about
think it's
you.
like gelatins. Wait, caramel's a gelatin. Maybe.
No, caramel is
No, it's
sugar.
not.
Gelatin
Yeah, I know,
is made
it's
from
Caramel
bone
is a
marrow.
way of life.
Caramel is a French accent. It accents the savory taste of chocolate, and you put it in your beverages, preferably coffee. And coffee tastes very, very good with caramel.
And that is our
chocolate.
other special guest today, Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew. I was born in Mexico,
guys.
but
You know
I
what?
moved
Here's
to
a funny to
France.
say statement. I think caramel is the worst candy.
Bold
Before
of
you
you
go
to
into that,
say.
guys,
Why
I
don't you
brought my
go
own
to
special
hell,
guest.
sir?
I brought my own special guest. Mr. Jordan, he's in the back over there. He's been pretty silent. He doesn't
Michael
wanna talk.
Jordan,
Michael
when
Jordan.
did you show up?
Michael Jordan, don't
you
you
are
have
quite
AIDS?
large.
He's pretty quiet. He doesn't want to talk.
Don't you have HIV?
He got his back 2 teeth removed from a basketball game, but I don't know why, but yeah.
Was that Michael Jordan that got HIV?
Well,
I think
no,
you
it's
can
Magic
ask-
Johnson.
Magic Johnson. Sorry, I don't want to spread fake news. It's Magic Johnson, not
No,
Michael
imagine-
This is
Jordan.
a very anti-fake news
Mr.
podcast.
Mr. Jordan is like
You
really
know,
pretty
imagine
upset.
though if we actually had Michael Jordan and he
Who
just like
didn't say
doesn't
anything.
say anything until the last one. He's like, "Okay, guys, goodbye." And he
Yeah,
leaves.
here you go. Thank you for
Everyone
having
just
me.
immediately loses.
He's like, I needed
goes
like
ballistic.
I needed like a brief 20-minute cat nap. Thanks, guys.
So we have some podcast updates. In our last episode, when we interviewed Mord, I alluded to putting the podcast on iTunes. Since then, it is on iTunes and also Spotify and Google Play and Stitcher and YouTube. So wherever you listen to podcasts, find us there.
You know, Stitcher sounds like a Tinder dating site, but for people who are missing limbs.
Honestly, I
Fun
was
fact,
thinking
that's
the exact
actually
same
what it
thing.
started out as, and then people just started putting podcasts on it.
I'm just saying, like, you got like Tinder, Grindr, Twitter, all these dating websites.
Yeah,
Those
man.
all
Did you say
sound-
Twitter twice?
Yeah.
No, I said
Wait,
Tinder.
Tinder,
Oh.
Quindo, Mindo, Nando. You know.
Freaking-
Lavender.
Guys, YouTube's a dead thing. Everyone's on Splarn now.
Why?
I'm sorry, I stole that from Game Grumps. I shouldn't.
Everyone uses Vimeo these days.
Vimeo.
I
Oh,
haven't
God.
used that since I was told to
I
use
use
that.
YouTube Red. I'm pretty hip and I
Oh,
know
God.
what's out.
Do you listen to YouTube Red with your Apple AirPods?
Yeah.
You know,
Nice.
I tried
I-
getting
on your
YouTube
iPhone
Red,
X.
but
Yeah, dude.
I think I went to the wrong website. I didn't see, like, PewDiePie shows. I just saw a lot of naked people.
Guys, as bad
Maybe
as
you
YouTube
maybe you're on
might
porn.
ever
God.
get,
Dude,
I
I
will
did that
always be
once.
staunchly anti-Vimeo.
Vimeo. What's Vimeo's, like, policy, anyways? 'Cause I
Being
know,
awful.
I know YouTube's policy's like, it's not our fault, it's always yours. What's Vimeo's take on it? Do they
YouTube-
just don't care?
Here's my number one
They're not
gripe.
big enough to care.
Here's my number one gripe with Vimeo. When you make a free account on Vimeo, you think you
is
can
it
just
paid?
you can just upload things. No, there's like a 500 megabyte upload limit, like each week.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Last year when I did the Frankfurt 48 film contest,
They wanted you to do it
big
on
flex.
Vimeo?
Yeah, you're supposed to upload your video to Vimeo and then send it to them. But the 1080p output, like the render of what I made, was too large to be uploaded on Vimeo. So I had to
Vimeo.
I had to export it at 720p
Jeez.
just to get it to upload.
So okay, I have this weird story actually. Now that we're
Bold of
talking
you to
about
say.
video stuff, it's not even bold. Like, so both my grandpas died when I was.
Jesus!
Yeah, I'm
Weird
going
flex,
there.
but okay.
Both my odd flex.
Wow.
Wow.
Both my grandpas died when I was like 2. I didn't really know them, and so I'm not like sad about that because I never really knew them. I would like to have
I'm
a
not
conversation.
sad about that.
I have
No.
a similar thing.
In fact, I pee in their urns every single night. No, I'm joking.
Oh, the cremated.
Oh,
I
wait,
don't.
Does your parents have both the urns?
I think they have one of them,
Can we snort one?
Okay.
but no.
Oh no, Jesus!
I want to
Yeah,
see what
can we
happens.
snort
No,
yours right
okay,
there?
that sounds like that one guy from Rolling Stones. Anyway, so I've never heard my grandpa's voice ever. Like I've never just because I was 2 when I heard his voice, and my brain was like, nah, it's not important. And
Yeah,
Hobby.
to your old brain.
I actually
Yeah.
have one cassette recording of my grandfather's voice.
exactly, we actually found a cassette, a small like from the phone messaging things that they used
Oh
to
yeah,
have
the
in the
voicemail
80s.
cassette.
Or, yeah, in the early 80s, or sorry, early 2000s, late 90s esque kind of things. Anyway,
Actually, those go from like the mid 70s.
you
up
know what,
until the
Alex?
90s.
You can go and love yourself because you're correct. So my dad, right after my grandpa died, my grandpa Pete,
He
peed. Yeah, Grandpa, we actually called him Grandpa P. But right before Grandpa P died, or after he died, sorry, my dad grabbed the cassette because I had a message from him. So skip forward about 17, 18 years, right? Here I am digging through this chest of old stuff, and I found this little cassette, and it says Grandpa's voice. I'm like, oh, cool. And we got this little recorder thing that would play it back, and we found it. And I heard my grandpa's voice. Now, where is this going in terms of podcasts, and how does this have to do with Vimeo? We are living in a generation where, like, our kids will never wonder what we were like as kids. Our kids will never be in the position of, like, I've never heard my grandpa's voice.
I think as embarrassing as it might be that someday your kids will find your partying videos or whatever.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
My kids
totally.
are gonna find a crown in a dusty box, and they're gonna think I was awesome.
They're gonna pick it up.
He was a king.
They're gonna get out of the box and say, Burger King. What?
The most,
Wow! He must have owned the franchise.
the
Yeah,
most that
I was
have,
the Burger King.
You were the Burger King.
the most that I have to remember my grandfather on my mother's side is a bunch of cassettes, like 10 cassettes of. One of them has his voice, but it's mostly him playing like his trumpet, like at church and
very
stuff.
cool.
Oh.
Yeah, and I actually digitized them. I ran them through Audacity. I got like digital copies of each one, and I gave them to my mom for her birthday. I think.
You're
That
such a
is-
good guy.
I got
That's
this,
good.
That's a really good present.
I got this.
I gave my mom
realization
a cool
epiphany.
looking T-Rex.
I gave my mom coupons because I was broke.
I got
did
my mom a
too.
ticket
No,
to
she-
Elton John.
She really loved it.
I gave my mom a IOU coupon for a movie that has slowly started to become canceled, so I need to figure out something else for her.
Nice.
I got
I
a
hate this.
an epiphany I had. So I was hanging out with my grandpa recently, and we were talking about something, I don't know what. I'm like, oh my god, my grandpa is like legit a mob boss.
Oh my god.
You know, like the way have you ever seen what's his name? The guy in Godfather?
Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Pacino. Legit, he looks like him, he moves like him, he talks like him. Legit, everything's just the exact same. And my grandpa's twin brother's name is Don.
Whoa.
Yeah, isn't that
Don.
insane? I think that's too uncanny. Like,
I want to talk a bit more about Gavin's
Fine,
topic,
I see
though.
how it
I'm
is.
sorry.
Yeah.
no,
sorry.
no, you know what?
No, I was just interested that
I'm
you
gonna-
You've been usurped, sir.
I'm sorry, guest star Eric. But Gavin said something like, what did you say? That children aren't going to remember their grandparents and stuff?
No, they
Like
are
their
because
voices?
all they have to do is like
Go to Instagram
Google
page.
us, and then they'll come up with my like Instagram.
Nah, you
Maybe.
see, I feel like that's going to be a bit of a problem with me because none of my accounts ever post my actual private information anymore. I randomly...
Anymore.
We want your credit card number, Jared.
Yeah, okay. What they're gonna see is I was really into Bionicles until the age of 12, and then after that, something happened.
No, anyway, the second part of
something
what I
was
was going to say, I forgot to say it, but all that I have to remember my grandfather is those cassettes. But what our grandchildren will have to remember from us is, like, our thoughts that
and
that we
vaping.
put out.
I don't want them to remember half the stuff
They're gonna
I've
remember-
vomited onto the
They're
internet.
gonna remember dabbing, Despacito, and sick vape tricks.
I'll remember Despacito until I die.
I'll be
last
on my
thing you
deathbed
think
and
of?
say and be like, the beat drop will be my death. I'll be like,
I'm gonna be-
Despacito. Dead.
But
I'm going to be orange just to sing at my own funeral.
But like, since my last word was technically a syllable, it would be like his last word was Cito. It's not even a word. Maybe it is in Spanish, but like Sito. That was it. Cito.
Let's get into our bold statements.
You have the floor, sir.
Okay. Yes, I played Red Dead 2.
Oh, yeah, I love
I believe best game I've ever played, but I legit don't think Micah should have been the bad guy. Because like, it didn't make any sense at all. Like, yeah, he was like a pretty bad guy, but he wasn't the worst
Micah?
bad guy.
I'm not familiar with the games, but that is bold of you to say.
It's very.
I'm familiar with the game. Why do you
I'm not
think
familiar
Micah
with
shouldn't have been a bad guy?
Because I think it should have been like, you know, the Picotins or like someone else. Because
Oh, yeah, they were the bad guys.
They were the
but
bad guys, but like Micah was like. Because like.
Well, like Micah
The
sold
first-
John and Arthur out.
Well, yeah, but the first
Just to
three
get more
chapters.
money.
The first three chapters, like Micah worshipped him. Then the fourth chapter, God knows what happened to him. Fifth chapter, he's like, okay, I hate you now. In sixth chapter, he's like, I'm a bad guy now. It's like,
Well, yeah, no, because Micah doesn't like Arthur or Morgan anymore. Not Morgan. John doesn't like Arthur or John anymore. Like, he always hated John, and he doesn't like Arthur because Arthur's starting to like.
When you say Arthur, I think of Arthur from the cartoon, and when you say John, I think of John Lennon. And so
Yeah.
now I'm thinking like,
That is the
Well,
greatest.
like in my
not
mind's
crossover
eye, I
in
imagine
cinematic
like a
history.
woman
Not
because
too
I know what
far.
Red Dead is, right? I know that.
So you just
So I just imagine
John
this like
Lennon
cowboy like cabin with Arthur like reading a book and John Lennon being like, "Hey, what's up, you weird
you
bad
Aardvark?
thingy?" Is he Aardvark?
He's Aardvark.
Oh dang.
Yeah. I love Aardvarks.
And then like John Lennon trying to make a song and Paul McCartney always making a better song than he is, and he's always like really PO'd at Paul because he's like, "Yes, and it was my idea. It's my idea. I don't know why Paul keeps on stealing it."
Oh,
He's
man.
like, "Aardvark."
Like, the more you hear about John Lennon, like his whole dealio, the more you kind of don't want to like him anymore.
Yeah, he talks about peace, but he
He
like,
talks about
Did he
peace,
beat
but then
his
he
wife?
beats his children and wife. It's
I
like,
think he only beat his
why?
wife.
It is
No,
his wife.
I thought I read somewhere that he also beat his kids or something. Or, like,
No, I don't think he did.
or he
No,
just
just wife.
only insulted
Just his
them.
wife, which is a lot.
It's
Which is a lot,
better.
but
It's
wow.
just the woman.
Jesus.
No.
Well,
No, but,
okay,
like,
yeah, just a
seriously,
woman 70s.
Like
no,
he's
I'm
like
joking.
John Lennon sings songs. He's like, oh, just imagine a world with peace, everyone. And he like goes home. He's like, oh, how dare you cook the rice wrong?
You're not piecing correctly.
Oh God, guys, calm down.
He hit me.
We're a peaceful society.
I think we're lucky that that's the worst that he did. Cause like if you were
that's a good
if
point.
you were in the Beatles, the greatest band of all time, world renowned, that would ruin your sense of reality. That would ruin. You have no perspective on what life.
You know
is.
what? I always think of success in terms of bands in like this light. If John Lennon walked into like a bar or a restaurant
And got angry at you?
No, and he just jumped on a table and took a dump. Just in the middle of the table.
It would be an art
one,
exhibit.
How mad
Yeah.
would people get? And two, how many people would be like, "Oh, it's John Lennon. Well, what an honor for him to poop on my dinner."
Once you
Everyone
get to the point in your career where you can shit on a table and people will admire you, I think you should be excused for whatever crime you commit.
And all you would have to say is
legit.
like, "I'm doing it for peace," and people are like, "Yeah, I want a piece of your shit now."
right, because at that
people
point-
can do that and become legends.
At that point, your sense of reality is so warped.
You know, I think that's what Gary Busey does. Like, because Gary Busey's just crazy now since the
That's
accident.
so true.
Like, he can do
Oh.
literally anything. Like, there's stories of him,
What
like,
accident?
assaulting people on airplanes. Like, you didn't hear about this, have you? Like, you know how Gary Busey at first was, like, a normal human being who did
Yeah.
acting, and then he got in a motorcycle accident, this is why you wear your helmets, because if you don't wear a helmet, you go apparently just absolutely bat crap insane. Because Gary Busey now, instead of being an actor, he goes into the desert to find magic Indians and fist fights Tonka trucks. This man is living the dream.
I'm sorry, I kept on interrupting you.
I always want to be insane.
You always wanted to be insane?
Yeah, like Gary Busey.
Okay,
now you don't.
Gary
No, I
Busey
legit want
insane.
to.
No, if I was to go crazy, I want to be Gary Busey
Yeah,
insane
same
because
here.
he's always having fun.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's a true
Like,
statement.
there's nothing Gary Busey does. Like, he gets into arguments with people on the plane about how it works, and he's like, the magic fairies make the engines go. And they're like,
Really?
no, Gary, that's not how it works. He's like, yes, it does. And they're like, okay, don't bite me.
They
Yes.
put sprinkles in the jet
and
fuel
it's
to make it
long.
run
Like
faster.
each one.
He
To make
like,
the exhaust
2
cell
inches
smell
long.
sweet.
I remember, like, I was watching this one podcastception, guys. But
Oh,
this
wow.
one podcast, and they're talking about how they watched this guy sit down, and then Gary Busey sat next to him, and the entire flight was everyone laughing as Gary Busey yelled at this man for not understanding Gary Busey's version of aerodynamics.
He's just write a book. He's just write a book. Just
The
it
truth
should be-
of the history
it'd
of
be
the
like,
world
No,
by
it'll
Gary
just be
Busey.
like plain text. How things work. Gary Busey.
Yeah, I wanted to be crayon drawing.
It's written in crayon.
want
It's
that
written
guy
in
to-
crayon. He's just writes it in crayon.
It's written on one of those like table mats that they set out so kids can color on them at restaurants.
It's like the little senorita, like,
No, but like it's not like
it's written on a children's menu.
it's like printed. It's not even printed out. Like they printed out with crayon.
Each page is a different restaurant.
it's like different pages, like a different, like...
Restaurant
And some pages are
location.
just like a picture, like pizza. Like you're just like, I was hungry for this illustration, so I drew a pizza.
No, he doesn't explain it. There's just random pictures of, like,
You have to
crappy...
have one of
He
his
gets
handlers make sure he
so-
doesn't eat the pizza.
He gets so in depth in his
He just
subject.
rips out the page. And
He gets so in depth in his subject and the meaning of life. Next page is a pizza.
he gets so hungry that he goes to a bookstore, buys his own book to rip out the piece of pizza page and eats
careful. No, I like...
readjusting it.
it. No, you should not
got
put
it.
that nearer
Yeah,
to me.
don't make it close
You should
to him.
not
Can
Every
you
do
guys
time
can you guys like adjust so you're both equally close to the mic?
I'll
Just
be
like
good.
adjust.
I
your
yell
seats.
so much that I'm actually getting lightheaded right now.
No, I am too.
Hey, make it closer.
All right,
No.
so we should move on to our next bold statement.
Can I do mine?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
I'm going to say this. A lot of people disagree with me so far, but have you guys seen iRobot?
No.
I
Group,
saw
I
it
am
and
robot.
I hated
Yes,
it only
I've
because of
seen it.
grammatical errors in that sentence.
Oh, I liked iRobot. I thought iRobot was a good movie.
Is it like iPhone robot or is
What's
it like
your-
me as
No,
an I?
It's
comma,
Apple in
robot.
20 years.
It's supposed to be like a Shakespeare thing because it's all about like the meaning of like what people are.
You understand that shit? Like Shakespeare was getting blasted, like with the weed. He was smoking lots of Mary Jane.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
believe Shakespeare
iRobot's
was
a
the artist
movie
behind
about a
his own
robot that
work.
thinks it's a human being, and Will Smith's in it with a robot arm, and then they fight a giant robot.
I don't believe
Television.
Shakespeare existed.
No, you know,
Shakespeare was
What do you
actually
have to
black.
say? Wait, what?
No, I heard that somewhere.
Alexander Hamilton was white.
Alexander Hamilton was actually a ham.
But yeah, no, like a thing that always gets to me. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, iRobot's such a bad movie." It's like, why though? It's like because it doesn't add anything interesting to anything and all this. It's like, so you want iRobot, a movie about robots, to be the next Citizen Kane?
Well, I never
It's
seen
like it doesn't add any social commentary. It's like it. I mean, not all movies need to be just like a masterpiece. Like sometimes they're just popcorn flicks. Like, okay, let's think of this. Citizen Kane is a movie that everyone loves. You want to know another movie that everyone loves?
Hunger
Matrix.
Games.
I
no,
think Citizen Kane
Tommy
is,
Wiseau's The Room.
I think
Now
Citizen
you
Kane
tell
is
me,
definitely
are both
overrated.
of those films on the same level in artistic quality?
You're tearing me apart, Jared. Oh my god, Jared. I didn't hit her. I did not hit her. I did not.
That was the worst impression I've ever
That's-
my entire
that
life.
doesn't work.
I
It's
did. I
not-
messed up the line
It's not
too.
true. I didn't hit her. I did not.
You actually
I
acted.
did not.
I did not.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mom.
I actually do that every time I see Mark from school.
Oh, hi, Mark. And he's like,
Oh, hi, Mark.
No,
He hasn't said anything about it
But
yet.
no, that's one thing I always like to bring up when like there's always a critic that's like, this movie is so dumb. It's like it's just a cheesy popcorn flick. It's like, look at The Room. Look at The Room, and you tell me that movies need to be
It
artistic.
became
at
an
times.
accidental comedy.
It's like
I have not seen Citizen Kane, but I can tell you that it's definitely overrated. Because no matter how good Citizen Kane is, there's no way it lives up to what people are saying about
that's a
it.
good
Wait,
point.
guys, can a movie ever be perfect?
No.
No.
Okay.
Sometimes the flaws are what helps the movie.
I think
gonna
Endgame
do-
will be perfect.
They do to movies what the Electoral College did after George Washington. They won't elect it unanimously. They won't. Sorry,
Yeah.
that was a bad reference. So what? Let me
Moral
explain
of the
this.
story, Electoral College bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I get what political
Bold of you to
standpoint
say
are we?
is staunchly anti-Electoral College.
That's what you just say.
Thank
True.
you.
You're not even on this. Get out. Get back in your cage.
Okay.
Guest. Get back in the guest
Derailed
cage.
that conversation.
Gavin, do you have your bold statement
I have a
prepared?
bold statement. SpaceX is eventually going to become totalitarian and its own government, I think.
You think Elon Musk,
Are you
the
just pitching
biggest
your
meme
movie?
lord?
I think eventually SpaceX is going to go to Mars, right? They're going to get there. They're going to be like, oh, it's a lot easier to do things here than we thought, right?
And then they're gonna make a Martian government, and it's gonna be just kills.
Well, no, they're just going to go there.
And it's going to
then
be exactly like the
Earth is
sci-fi
gonna-
movie that Gavin is
Earth is going to go
making.
downhill, and then they're going to be like, okay, life is better on Mars because this is a clean slate, yada yada yada.
That's not what not Elon Musk. That's not what Elton John said in his song.
I don't give a crap about what. Yeah,
It's
you know what?
too
And you know what
cold.
David Bowie said about Mars or more?
Is there life on Mars?
He's
This
been
is
asking a
ground
question that asks.
control to
Major
Major
Tom.
Tom.
Is there life on Mars?
Hold on, they're coming to the door. You can open the door. Oh,
Cool.
What was that?
What?
He said I'm a virgin.
he's
I
a
don't know.
virgin.
That's cool.
I
But
didn't know.
I think they're gonna go there, and then the U.S. government, like eventually when they become like self-sufficient, the government
Self-sustaining.
self-sustaining, the government's gonna be like, okay, well we're gonna have to tax some stuff here because
And then
I'm gonna
Elon
buy
Musk,
the
who is
moon.
going to be the
Elon
emperor
Musk
of Mars, will
is-
rise from his golden throne and
Either-
say, no.
either
I think if anyone deserves to be Emperor of Mars, it's Elon Musk. Simple
Yeah.
as that.
you know what? How did Elon Musk not make a cologne yet?
Cologne or
Oh my God.
clone?
Did you not like? Come on, Elon's
That's-
Musk. Buh!
Elon's Musk.
What would it smell like?
Is
This
that
is the
a-
smell of
It
space.
would smell like science.
It would smell like a vacuum, like a
Hold on,
vacuum
hold
of
on.
space.
Let's look this up. What does space smell like?
It's yeah.
I don't think it has a smell.
No,
I think
it's because when you go out into space,
that's a question. That's a question people ask
when
us.
you go-
Space
Oh my
is
God.
full of smells, but mostly the burning odor of hydrocarbons. So Elon's Musk would smell like burning hydrocarbons.
it sounds like my Friday night.
Sometimes I just go outside.
Smells like a
with
lot
my
like a
friends and we
NASCAR.
just burn that hydrocarbon.
That sucks.
Elon Musk, secret redneck.
Oh my God.
But,
Have you seen his Twitter account recently?
He's funny. He's a funny dude.
It's
Elon
great.
Musk has like an anime guy as his Twitter profile, and it's just this is the man that's pioneering space
Did you
age
see him on Meme
technology.
Review? Did you see
Elon
him
Musk is the ultimate goal of ADHD.
I love the dead deer in the pool. That killed me. My dolphin isn't working. It's a dead deer in a pool. And Elon Musk just loses it. Ah,
This man's pioneering space age technology. He's gonna be the guy that puts us on Mars, and this man is basically a meme lord. What does that say about society? How far does meme culture go?
I just cannot wrap my mind around the fact that Elon Musk exists.
Like, this man is, it's like God was making a supreme scientist, like someone who's gonna beat down all the other scientists and be the best. And then he put in a sprinkle of memes, but it's like that scene in the Powerpuff Girls where the beaker just breaks and all of it falls in.
And
And
instead,
that's Elon Musk.
and instead of Rick Sanchez, it was Elon Musk.
They were gonna make Rick Sanchez, but they gave him some more charisma.
but I don't know. I think what SpaceX does well is they market a human need.
They have funding.
Yeah, well, they market a human need, which is that we need to explore, right?
We need to go to Mars. I don't
need
care
to
what anyone
explore as
says.
humans.
I want to be part of the colony.
And
to
the
go to
world is
Mars.
already like you walk into China randomly, like the hell are you doing here? And you're like, I just want to explore. And they're like, okay, please come into this prison camp, you know. And
What?
it's like,
Where have
Gavin,
you
that's
going?
oddly specific. Did
Where
you
have
get
you going?
kidnapped in China?
no, I'm saying if you walk into China without a passport or documentation, people
So if you walk into
Shit's
China,
gonna go down.
Hold
China
on.
is an international incident.
Hold on.
But if you go to Mars and you go, "Hi, I'm here on Mars," no
It's
one's gonna be like,
intergalactic.
no one's gonna be
Are there
like,
gonna
"I
be
need to
greeters?
see your papers."
No
Well,
one's
Mars
there.
doesn't have greeters yet.
No one's there
Mars
yet.
doesn't have. Welcome to Mars. If there's anything I can help you find today, maybe like oxygen
You know what I want?
or means to
okay.
live for more than 5 seconds.
Speaking about greeters and stuff, I want Elon Musk to take all of the Walmart greeters and have them be the greeters of Mars.
You know, I heard
Oh my
that.
God, can
Welcome
we
to
please?
You
Mars.
always ever see
You like open the
Idiocracy?
door and all of the people in wheelchairs say at the same time, "Welcome to Mars."
You
in
guys ever see
unison. It's like,
Idiocracy?
I'm here.
What?
You guys ever see Idiocracy?
Idiocracy?
Yeah.
I've heard of
There's
it.
a guy. It's basically in the future where everyone's like so stupid. There's a guy at Walmart or Costco. He's like, "Welcome to Costco. I love you." Then the next guy comes in. "Welcome to Costco. I love you."
I would do that.
love you. I love you.
That's what I do. I do that because I want the customers to feel like they're appreciated.
That's what I greet people at CVS.
Welcome
but, like,
to Costco.
I want to
love
say
you.
that to the greeters.
Like, I
Well,
work.
they're like, "Welcome to Costco." I'm like, "I love you."
Just walk up, put your hand on their shoulder, look into their eyes, unless they're the blind ones, and just say, "I love you."
No, look into the like white milky nothing.
You got to do the thing from Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. Hey.
No.
Whoa! I felt that. I felt that, dude.
But
Oh man.
I just want to say I love how that's the ending of Into the Spider-Verse. He tases him in the greatest way possible by hitting on him.
I love Into the Spider-Verse.
you know what
I
annoys me?
freaking love it
when-
the entire screen. That was the best part.
Gavin was trying to speak, everyone.
Yeah, shut up, everyone.
Sorry, Eric. I know you
The
wanted
one
to
time I'm
speak
talking with
too.
Gavin.
But in the millionth time I've talked over Eric.
I know.
But like I
Yes, sorry, the
I'm getting
bootlickers of our
harassed.
podcast.
I'm sorry, Eric. You're
This
a
is
good
not
guy.
a safe place for
Gavin has
Yeah,
tenure.
Eric is like, I'm
Yeah.
so excited, such a great experience, and everyone's like, get out.
Everyone's like, shut up, Eric.
Shut the hell your mouth.
Shut the hell your mouth. But I find it kind of annoying when someone greets me at a store and they say, "Is there anything specific I could help you find today?" Because if they just said, "If there's anything I can
Yes,
help you
the
find
Black
today,"
Dahlia. Where is it?
no, but like if they just said like, if there's anything I can help you find today, that
Yarg,
includes
we be
specific things.
pirates. Where is the treasure of
Is there anything
Buccaneer's hair?
Is there anything I can help you find today? The Constitution of the United States.
I'm looking for the black market.
Hello,
sitting
how you
around.
doing? Hello, is there anything specific you can I can help find for you
Yeah,
today?
Obama's birth
yes,
certificate.
we be pirates. Where is the treasure of Deadman's Cove? Just pull a sword out.
Dude, that's too.
Oh no, they found me.
Is there anything I can help you find today? A sense of self.
A soul.
Well,
my
I mean
shield.
that's the greeter at Hot Topics whole deal.
Welcome to Hot Topic. Are you depressed and need some flashy clothing to get any remnants of
I'm gonna stop you right
attention?
there.
Someone quick
He's
help
broken. We
Gavin.
need to unplug him and plug
Welcome
him
to
back
Hot
in.
Topic. What kind of what is
Attention
it,
do
Nightmare
you want?
Before Christmas T-shirt would you like? Literally, that's all they sell. It's just like you walk in there. It's like, man, does Disney own part of this store's shares?
It must.
Jeez.
Disney
They should
owns
make
everything
a
at
they
this
should make a
point.
depressed like alternate version of history.
I wanna
of,
go to Spencer's.
of Disney. Of just being like, everything is bad. Like it should just be like everything bad Disney
that's
is
the-
doing.
That's like all of the rip-off movies of Disney movies because they always are
Shrek.
like messed up somehow. Like what is it? Like
Dude,
A Car's
Moonlight?
life is like this horrible wasteland. It's like, why?
I mean, Shrek is just a big spoof on Disney, where they're like,
And then it became what it was spoofing eventually.
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
Have
basically.
you guys seen the strip of Burned Bright?
oh, Burn
Superman?
Bright. Yeah, no,
Wait,
that
you
looks
said the
really good.
strippers burn bright?
No, the trailer for Burn Bright. Have
Oh.
you seen that? It's the
Basically
idea
Superman.
is it's Superman. Like it's the Superman origin story, but he wasn't raised right, and he became the opposite of Superman, where he's like evil. So it's just like this little Superman kid's murdering an entire small town. It's great.
Have you seen the alternate version of Superman where it's instead of landing in America, he lands in the USSR?
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that
Yes.
one
Yeah.
up.
It's comic
The Red
book.
Sun.
I like the concept of that because every superhero origin story it happens to take place in America.
Yeah, and in this one it's
Except
all
for
in
Black
Russia.
Panther.
Like they have Batman who's in Russia, and it's weird because he's like Secret Service kind of thing too. It's like this is so weird.
and Lex Luthor was the president of the United States. Lex Luthor is not that bad of a villain. I'm just gonna say that.
I'm just gonna say
So
right
he's the
here.
one Superman.
Bold of you to say.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, Lex Luthor.
He's not bad.
He's
He's
not
not a bad
really
guy.
that much of a bad guy, but he doesn't know where to put his priorities.
You know,
Well, no, think about
Fair
it this way.
enough.
Think about, okay, so like, an alien goes to your home world, who's like super like mass powerful. How do you
Oh yeah,
react?
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like if Superman was on your home planet and you had no understanding of him, you'd probably be violent towards him at first. But like,
But this
Lex
guy is
Luthor
so powerful.
stayed.
If Superman wanted to,
He could rip
He-
the roof off the lighthouse
can-
and murder the president, and
if
who
he
would
can
stop
throw,
him?
if he can throw all the nukes into the sun like he did in Superman 4, the worst Superman,
The quest for
there is
peace.
nothing stopping him from just throwing the nukes at the White
You
House.
said the name wrong. It's Superman for the quest for peace. That's its name.
a piece of nuclear arsenal.
A piece of
A
nukes.
piece of that hot. No.
I hate that movie
Yeah.
so much.
It's so great.
Superman 3 and 4 are possibly the worst
I
things
forget.
I've
Is it
ever watched.
Superman 3 where he reverses time?
He does it in the first one actually.
Oh, it was the first one?
Yeah.
Which one's with
Yeah.
the
And
beans?
it might have been in the second
With
one
the
too.
beam?
The bean. No, the kryptonite little things. Remember, like the red one makes me angry. The
Oh.
black one. I don't know what the black one does. I don't believe in Superman. He can't be a real thing, can he? No, he can't. No.
Wow, that's
Oh,
bold of you
little
to
did
say.
you know, removes glasses.
No.
I was Superman the whole time.
Clark, where did you go?
I'm right here.
Oh, hi,
I'll
Clark.
die. Clark.
Superman.
You just missed Clark Kent.
You know what I'd
What?
love?
Hold on, wait a second. Superman, you just missed Clark Kent.
You guys never
Like, oh,
seen-
what?
I would just love.
Why do I care? I'm Superman.
I would just love if like Superman was like, I'm gonna take a break for a little while. I'm just gonna get super fat, and
Can Superman get super fat?
Yeah.
That's my question
well,
of the
because
day.
he can fly and he's basically like immortal and like impervious to
We just
literally
want
everything.
an
Which would
obese
mean he's also
Superman.
impervious to heart disease, cancer, high blood
My
pressure.
God, I'm
Because of the
Superman.
Oh my God, I'm Superman. I can eat what is it?
Lean beef.
I am the fattest person you'll ever meet, but I have like no health conditions because of it. It's weird.
Does Superman have a birth certificate?
No,
I hope not. No.
he's not an American citizen. We have to deport him.
We need to build a wall around the solar system.
We need to build a wall around Superman's ice fortress. What's it called? The Fortress of Solitude.
Well, okay.
I'm just curious about like logistically how do superheroes like Superman and Captain Marvel how do they live like in a legal sense?
like when they're
don't.
just
Because
overpowered aliens.
Captain Marvel, spoiler alert, was presumed dead in like 1989, and then 1995 she comes back to Earth. She was like a Kree soldier for like that whole time. Then she eventually remembers who she is, but like she was declared dead. So where does she go to be undead?
New York.
Oh.
Jesus.
Does she have a social security number at that point?
No,
Does Superman have a social security number? Does he
No.
need one?
I mean
Well, it's kind of the same idea of
that's
Batman.
a weird question.
Does Superman have a
No,
passport?
Superman does
Batman
have a
has all
social
that
security
stuff
number
because
because
he's
when he
Bruce
landed, his
Wayne.
parents were like, "Oh, there's a baby," and I assume like sometime
Oh yeah,
at
because he
some
was raised
spot,
by people. So yeah,
Yeah.
he has all that stuff.
They would've been like,
But I wonder though,
this child.
can Ma and Pa like get him a birth certificate? I guess they could be like
Forge it.
they could like come to wherever you get that stuff done and
An
be like,
adoption
hey,
agency or
we
something.
we found this baby, and we want to take it in. I guess they could do that.
Where'd you find it? In a weird intergalactic pod in the middle.
Where'd
of
you
a-
find it? In the middle of the cornfield.
But, like you're telling me that we don't have people watching the skies
He's a corn baby.
and seeing
corn baby.
this spacecraft enter the atmosphere and crash in Kansas.
They think he's just like they think he just grew off of corn, and so they're like, "Oh, hey, it's a corn baby."
We grew this
How
baby
are you so
out
big
of
and
our
strong?
corn.
He eats corn. Oh, okay.
But no, my question is to piggyback a little bit off of yours thing is, you know how Shazam, how he works? He's a little boy who
Shazam.
turns into a man by saying Shazam.
Right.
My question is, when little Billy becomes like the age of Shazam, becomes a 35-year-old
Okay.
man,
Nothing changes.
what does Shazam look like?
Wait, I have a
Does
question.
Shazam age also with Billy? Like, when he says Shazam, does he turn into like a 60-year-old man that has all these superpowers?
Hey,
or
think about
does
it
he
like
just
this: Social Security checks 1, 3 movies sometimes, and
yes, this is a good
Well, that's
question.
just a question. Does Shazam age?
Yeah,
Yes. So
like-
Shazam's name is Shazam. If you say Shazam, he would go
Yeah,
back to the
also,
other
that's
thing.
another thing. Why
How
did...
hard to have a name?
Yeah, like, DC was going to call him Captain Marvel. Well, originally he was called Captain Marvel. He was another superhero comic book entirely. Then DC bought the rights to it, and they changed the name because, different company. You don't want your rival company. You don't want that to be one of your superheroes.
Yeah,
but the
it's
problem
kinda
is
like
changing it
promotion.
from Captain Marvel to Shazam. Now he can't say his superhero name. So when kids are like, "Hey Billy, did you see this new awesome red superhero?" Oh, you mean that guy?
Yeah.
you mean he just spells it? He's like, you mean SHAM?
Z-O-M-E-N-S-A-M.
He does it to himself. He does it to
Shazam?
himself.
Yeah, that guy.
Because he has to say Shazam to turn into the
Shazam,
superhero.
yeah.
But he doesn't have to go by Shazam.
Yeah.
He can tell people that his name is something else.
Just call me Zam for short.
I think though, like in the comics, it's explained like they call him Shazam because that's the name they hear before all of a sudden a red man shows up throwing
but
lightning
at the same
bolts.
time, that's his weakness. If someone says Shazam, he's back to a human again.
No,
No,
someone
if he
has to
says
make him say
Shazam, you have to
Shazam.
trick him. It's like, what's
What
your name? It's like,
happened
oh,
to-
I'm Shazam. And
Wait,
he's
is
a
this
kid falling
movie-
from the
this
sky.
movie, right?
What?
Is that in the movie?
Yeah, no.
In the comics, it was like he has to be. Anyone can say his name in the comics.
In the Golden Age ones, yeah, but no, like they changed that after.
So
a
he has
while.
like no weakness.
Yeah, no, he does have a weakness.
Okay.
But
What do you
like
think?
when
It's
when he's Shazam, like he's basically a god. He's like Superman except with lightning.
You think if Shazam, like if the big guy, the magical dude,
Shazam?
Yeah, Shazam.
Yeah.
If he did the horizontal monster mash, would the child then be like a permanent Shazam baby?
What?
Oh my god! If Shazam, like if Billy in Shazam form had a kid with someone, would that kid also be part Shazam?
That's like in Superman Returns when
Was the baby part Superman?
Yeah.
But like that's the thing. Superman is an alien. His powers are normal. Shazam is magic.
It comes out like this.
He's a magic
This deformed
man.
human alien hybrid that's like, kill me.
No, that's a good question though, because Shazam's like this magical avatar kind of thing, like the guy.
Yeah.
So like if Billy in like man form was to have a kid with someone, like what would that be like? Like
I don't know, man.
what would happen to the kid?
What if the kid accidentally
The
said
kid comes out with
Shazam
like
in
the
the
little
womb?
cape.
What if the kid said
Oh my
Shazam in the
God.
womb?
Oh, God.
Oh my
Shazam,
God.
boom!
All right, guys, we have about 10 minutes left to record. So, my bold statement for this episode, it's rather timely because Endgame is coming out in 2 days.
Whoop, whoop.
In my opinion, I believe that
Kevin
the
Marvel
cinematic
sucks.
universe has made like cinematic movie storytelling more sophisticated than it was before.
Yeah.
Because now you can have story arcs going for multiple movies.
I love
for over
what they've
10
done.
plus years.
Like what Marvel's done with that is stuff that I've always wanted to see in movies. Like as a kid, I always thought, why don't they just connect these movies? Why aren't
kinda
every
does.
action movie in the same universe? Because like that'd be awesome.
Then the world would
Like-
be just chaotic.
Like
Whew.
Expendables is literally every action movie hero is in the same movie, and they're gonna go stop the terrorists, and I love that. But it's like none of them are connected. With Avengers and stuff, like you don't need to worry about like understanding the characters and like the big team up ones, because like you already understand like their emotions and stuff. Like the first Avengers focused mostly on like the team's like camaraderie.
the first act,
And-
it had a bit of it was bogged down a bit by exposition. But once you get past that, it's just go, go, go.
Yeah, but like that's the thing I like about how Marvel does it. Like DC is trying so hard to piggyback on Marvel. A lot of places are trying to do that when they like making their expanded movie universe.
The monsters universe, like
yeah,
the Mummy
that
and Dracula.
failed. They canceled that actually.
And that was the classic monster movies like the Mummy and
Yeah,
Dracula.
they were
all that stuff. They were interconnected. That was the closest
you
thing.
mean the original one?
The OG ones, yeah. Those were all connected. That's the closest thing that we had to the MCU before the MCU.
Yeah. But like,
Yeah, it just sucked.
I like seeing what they've done, like with Marvel. Like Marvel's gone through, and they've basically created this empire with their films because people like how they do it.
They created
and
an
then you
empire
see, like-
without Jesse Smollett.
But then you see like DC and Warner Brothers and stuff like that. They're trying so very hard to get like the same exact
They do their
thing.
own thing. Like, honest to God.
Like, I think like what DC's doing is they're trying to jump in with the whole team up thing way too soon.
Yeah.
Like, they've introduced 5 superhero characters,
In one
and
movie.
only one of them has two of them have a backstory. And that's Superman and Wonder Woman, because they retconned all of the Dark Knight stuff from Batman. So this Batman's a completely new Batman.
It's not a retcon. It's just a different universe.
Yeah, it's still confusing, though, because everyone's like, oh, yeah, Dark Knight trilogy, that's Batman. It's like, no, it's not. Batfleck, Batman.
This
is
is
a
what
different
they
Batman.
should do. They should get...
Ben Affleck.
They should get a
Batfleck.
story. A good, solid story. And then make
you
it, like,
see-
I don't know, just be smart with it. Like, make a
Like,
story with it. Just
Depending
then-
on what the characters are, too, though, also depends on it. Because, like, there's a movie universe. I want to watch it because I love it. It's the Godzilla movie universe.
God bless.
Now, with that, you don't need to worry about characterization. Because, you know, if you're going to watch a King Kong Godzilla movie, you're going to watch giant animals absolutely destroy the place.
Then go to the zoo.
Like, you just want destruction.
I think.
But, like, with a movie like Marvel and DC stuff, where, like, the comics are, like, you know, the big, like, superhero things with story arcs and character development and
Right.
plot, like, you need to focus on those things and develop the characters, but it's not a comic book where you can have, like, 4 issues are, like, the size of my hand.
Right.
You need to have, like, individual movies where you develop the characters' personality and, like, their morals and stuff, like origin story stuff.
I think the problem that a lot of studios have when they try to make a cinematic universe is they have a lack of patience.
Yeah,
'Cause how
nowadays
long-
because
how long did
they're
it
trying to
take-
ride on the coattails tails on Marvel.
Yeah, how
Like, they're
long
trying
did it
super
take?
hard to, like, hey, Justice League's a thing. Come
How
watch
long did
this.
it take to go from the
think,
first
what,
MCU movie to the Avengers? It took
10
four.
years?
It took 4 years to go from Iron Man 2008 to the Avengers 2012.
Yeah.
And they had Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man 2.
I thought
and then
Incredible
the
Hulk was
Avengers.
before. No, it wasn't. Never mind. it
Same
wasn't.
year as Iron Man.
Yeah.
But it took all of those movies to build up to the Avengers.
Yeah.
Then what did DC do? They had Man of Steel, then Batman v Superman,
Yeah. Man of Steel, then Batman v Superman, then Wonder Woman,
and then
then
Justice, League.
League.
They had
Then after that was Aquaman and Shazam.
they had 2 characters like with the backstory before Justice League, and then they had Batman who
Yeah.
had shown up.
Just shown up. Yeah.
He had cameos. So that's 3 characters out of that. That's like half of the Justice League that has some
I
development.
saw Justice League and I was so pissed. There was like legit a scene with Aquaman and Batman talking to each other, and Aquaman says, "Oh, so you're Batman, huh?" And it was like 4 guys, like civilians, like right next to him. I'm like,
That's so dumb.
legit. Like think about it. They
And
didn't
that's
think
a
about what they're
public
doing.
figure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a public figure. People didn't think about like what they're doing. Like they can't just like make something happen. And, like that'd be so good to do it. Like don't do that. Think about what you're doing.
They're so busy trying to copy off of Marvel's paper
Yeah.
that they're not realizing, oh yeah, these guys actually have secret identities.
Like, they're
Yeah.
trying so hard to be like Marvel, where it's like, oh, everyone likes the superhero team-up movies because they like the superheroes. But, like, it's the thing, they're making their own versions of these superheroes and not giving any context to, like, their stuff. Like, they're not the ones from the comic books. Like, Superman alone shows it that. He's not this paragon of humanity. Superman, like, he kills people.
Mhm.
Superman never kills people. That's his whole thing. Like, when he does kill people, it's because he's, like, really just kind of sick of everything and just wants to destroy stuff.
But now back to my original point.
It's like-
I think that the concept of the cinematic universe,
Oh,
when
yeah.
it's done right, like when Marvel does it, I think it's way more sophisticated than anything that's been done in cinema before.
The only problem I have with Marvel's cinematic universe is how the TV shows are to tie into it, because they just kind of like loosely fit in
Yeah.
here and there, and then they're just out and then they're back in a bit and then they're gone.
Yeah, they're making
It's like-
more TV shows for Disney's streaming service because that's what we need. But
Yeah.
all of those TV shows, I would like to see them. They're all canon.
There's only been one show from DC on this streaming service, because while we're talking about like comic book streaming services, I'm gonna shout this one out because it's honestly really good. Doom Patrol. It's
Is it
based
good?
off. It's honestly not that bad. Like there's some like really kind of cringy parts here and there, but overall the story and the characterizations and stuff, it's great. Like they actually took time and put heart into it. Like Doom Patrol is one of the older DC comics, which is like, oh, they're just kind of like the worst superheroes for the job. It's like the X-Men if all of them were terrible.
Wow.
Like, and they actually did a really good job with that. Like, they have Cyborg coming onto it, like, because they need, more characters. They got Cyborg and a new character, but the other two are the other three are the normal ones and stuff.
I got
it
one
works. Like, Cyborg has more characterization in Doom Patrol than in Justice League, the movie he debuted in. It's just kind of,
Eric, what do you have to say?
I'm so sorry. But like, the one thing was my biggest pet peeve is when like you have all these like superheroes like fighting like in Justice League or like any Marvel movie, they all have their special skill, right? Batman,
but they
he's
all
not
just
gonna,
like punch people.
Yeah, Batman, he's not gonna go against like some. They always make him go against like some like super hybrid ultimate beast that he can't beat, but Superman can. No, Batman is like he thinks logically, he thinks smart, but like they never have that anymore. Like he's the best investigator. They don't have anything like that anymore. It's like let that happen. Like let him be like an investigator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Batman, the greatest detective, has done hardly any detective work in any of his movies.
Watchmen, Rorschach and Watchmen, who's supposed to be like the same thing as Batman, did more detective work, and he was also a psychopath.
Yeah.
He was a crazy guy that kills people.
Bold of you to assume
And
that
he was
Batman isn't also a psychopath.
Well, I mean, okay, that's we're getting into a more,
We're getting into controversial
needs to see it.
territory.
we're getting controversial.
He needs to see a
territory.
therapist for his post-traumatic stress disorder.
You know what? Like, it's just something that, like, when Zack Snyder's, I think it was Zack Snyder, yeah, it was Watchmen, which is panned for it being too cartoony, has a more realistic detective character than Batman, the guy who can solve any crime. There's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
Watchmen's Rorschach even screws up at one point and gets arrested because he kills the wrong guy.
All right, guys, we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, we gotta
It's
go.
been fun.
It's been good, Eric. I'm sorry we kept cutting you off.
No, I'm used to it by now. After
I'm
this
sorry,
48 minutes.
We usually, the last one was an hour and 30 long.
And I have a small announcement too. Because
You're pregnant.
Yes. Because of like scheduling issues, because I'm going off to college and whatnot, and I have a bunch of busy stuff to do. I think I may not be able to come back to the podcast.
We're going to college at.
What?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I mean, I kind of talked to Alex about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did mention something about how you probably won't be on this summer.
Yeah,
isn't my
I just
place.
have a lot of stuff. Yeah, get out of here, Eric. This is family matters.
See,
No,
Eric.
Eric's part
Bye.
of the family.
No.
Okay.
Okay, I will be. Just not today.
It's not today. We'll do auditions for next for the replacement.
And I'll
But
do it.
if this ever, like, if it gets big, and I'm not saying that.
If it gets big, I might come back.
Yeah,
If it can get me famous.
If I can get
I'm not trying to
something
make it like
instead
that. I'm
of
just trying to
fun.
say, like, if you guys get big, I'd be happy to come back.
I would love that.
You know what? That'd be good. You'll be a guest on the podcast you helped started.
Yeah.
We will grant you a seat on the council, but we will not give you rank of master.
So to help us get to that point, share this with your friends. We're on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube.
It's okay to share the podcast, just don't share your needles.
That will be our closing statement. See you next episode. We have a couple more planned out.
Goodbye.
Au
Stay
revoir.
fresh, cheese boys.
Stay classy, San Diego.
No, wait, no, I said it
No,
wrong.
Stay
fre-
classy, planet Earth.
As they say in Canada, peace
Stay
out.
fresh, cheese bags.